Hey everybody, welcome to another Double Tap on YouTube. I am Stephen Scott.
And I am Shaun Preece. Hello.
It's Shaun Preece.
Oh, sorry. What on earth was that, Stephen Scott?
I wanted to give you an introduction, and we that's all we've got. That's all the budget runs to. So just me going.
Do we not run to sound effects anymore?
No.
What's happened?
Costs money.
YouTube's changed us.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Exactly. Can't get any more jingles to play. Can't get anything to work. It's hopeless. This is terrible.
If you like it so far, then why not subscribe? Click on like or subscribe or the bell button for notifications.
If you like listening to two men who, frankly, should know better, sitting talking absolute nonsense on the Tinternet, then you've come to the right place. So, yes. So let's talk about an interesting topic for you and I, which is travelling. I've got to say there's something about travelling when you're blind that's kind of interesting, because travelling short distances are challenging for me.
I like the use of the word interesting. I think you meant to say absolutely terrifying, but yes, okay.
Well,
interesting.
It's the short distances that I find to be the most challenging. But weirdly, travelling to Vienna or America or Dubai or Australia doesn't terrify me at all. Just doesn't terrify me. But going to the shops, I struggle. And I might be sounding like I'm making a joke here. I might be sounding like I'm carrying on to people thinking, hang on a minute, what's he talking about? How can going to Australia be easier than going to the shop? But honestly, there is a huge difference, and I'll explain why.
Please do.
With a trip to Australia, you might get a taxi to the airport. Usually there's either someone to meet you, or you can get met by assistants who will take you to your gate through the security, make sure your luggage is away and sent, where it needs to go, make sure you're checked in, get your boarding pass, get you through security, all that stuff, and get you to your gate, get you on the plane, get you seated, and get you set for your flight. And there, the assistants will help you on the plane. The stewards will help you come on, and they will, give you drinks and food and all kinds of wonderful stuff. And on the other end, someone's waiting to take you off the plane and pop you in a taxi and send you onwards to your destination. By which point you've left the house, you feel a little bit more confident in yourself, and you're prepared to face the world and try things. Going to the shops is a little bit different, because you have to get yourself over the step. You have to find your way to the shops. You've got to get into the shops and navigate them and hope that someone might be able to help you. And if not, then you've got to do it yourself and use a phone to find all the stuff. And, maybe you want to, buy something nice for tea and you're not quite sure what it is. You got to, have it. And browsing is horrible because you don't really know what's in the shop, and you have to try and remember what, you actually went in there in the first place for, whilst you're sweating profusely, and so on and so forth. And then you've got to do the whole trip back again. Oh. That's the difference.
Okay, so what you're calling for either is an end to assistance, when you're travelling, or you want assistance to the shop and back.
Or just never leave the house again would be the easiest solution. Yes.
It's kind of the options, though. I say that as a joke, but it is kind of the options. I've got to say, I totally agree with you. Going to Vienna, so firstly, I need a train up to Glasgow to meet you. Then we fly out on the airplane. All of that, I am not fazed at all. The train maybe a little bit, but that's because the assistance is there. I've pre-booked assistance. I know someone's going to help me. Basically, I give myself over to it, right? It's like we're a parcel, we're a package,
yes.
UPSing around the world. Absolutely fine. I totally agree with you. No tension at all. The biggest thing I worry about is, taxi to the train station. I'm going to mention this, actually. At Manchester, I have assistance booked. I need to make it through the main doors and find the button to call for assistance.
Right.
I cannot figure it out. I've tried so many times to learn the route to, over there. But you have no idea, because the taxis stop in different places every time. They're not allowed to stop for a particular amount of time. So trying to get a taxi driver, firstly, that will help you, assist you into the door to find the button to press for the assistance in the station, it's hit and miss. And because of that, I've had many a time where the taxi driver says, I can't stop, sorry. Mm-hmm. What do you do? And you're absolutely right. That part of it makes me anxious. But the assistance, I've got to say, I think we've come to a point now of assistance. This is so dangerous to say, but I am going to say it. I think assistance is, in general, so good. I think we're lucky.
Okay.
It depends where you are in the world.
I think it depends what your disability is as well.
Oh, that's an excellent point. Yes, I'm coming at this from my blinder bubble here. Yeah,
I think if we were in a wheelchair,
point.
I think it'd be a very different experience, if I'm honest. And that's certainly what I read online. I read a lot of disabled people in wheelchairs who say that their challenge is, I mean, in some cases, being left on the train, or the train turns up, there's no one around, they can't get on the train because there's no ramp. The ramp, and certainly in the UK, there has to be a ramp applied to the trains. So someone has to basically make a ramp available and then, make it available so you can get on the train. That's not possible on your own.
No.
So, and at the other end, you might not get off the train. I remember someone saying they were on a train. They ended up going back to the depot where the train was basically heading off to go to its bed. That's the technical term. And the train was going back to bed. And they were still on the train. And when they got back to the depot, the guys who come on to clean the train and do what they do and, to look after it overnight, they came on and found her and said, "Oh, hello." And she'd been frantically hitting the button to say, "Can I speak to someone?" There's a button in the train that can let you push to talk to the driver. He wasn't responding. And then we had a situation once where, someone was fined or threatened to be fined if they pulled the emergency button, if they were, trying to get off at a station and couldn't get off, and the train had gone off with leaving them on the train. This is, so it does depend on your disability. But
you're right.
We can only talk from our perspective, right? And that's what we do. And I agree with you. I think on the whole, I think it's partly also down to attitude as well. I think your attitude makes a big difference. If you're friendly with them, if you're good with them, and there's no reason not to be, then I think that can go a long way as well. I think if you go in there ready for a fight and an argument, I think you're going to get one. It's got anything in life. You?
Well, yeah, you say that, but I think that works both ways. I mean, we dealt with 3 or 4 assistants in our travels. And I'll say one of them wasn't like nasty or anything, but he wasn't particularly friendly either. Now, you could argue, it's just a job to do. He's not there to be your best friend.
No.
But at the same time, I don't know. I think there's got to be some sort of...
I think any situation that you go into in life, if you go into it with a negative attitude... And I know this is me talking, but if you go into it with a negative attitude, as in you go into a shop or you go in somewhere and you just have a nasty attitude about you, then you're going to get bad results. I see guide dog owners, for example, who fear that they're going to be rejected from a restaurant, for example, because of their guide dog. They go in armed, ready for the fight. And the argument gets, can be resolved. It could be resolved with a different attitude. I guarantee it. Because I've done it myself. I've faced this so many times myself with my wife. She's got a guide dog. And we've walked into restaurants and situations have occurred. And I guarantee you, if you just calm it down a little bit, the response will be a lot better. Or at least they'll listen to you. But no one's going to listen to someone shouting at them. It just doesn't work. No. Think about the amount of times someone shouted at you and you've sat and then, "Oh, that's a really interesting point you make. I must listen to this person. Yell at me some more. Please continue." No one does that, right? So, I think it's a little bit about attitude. Of course, we can't always be sure of what we're going to get and what we're going to face. But look, the point I'm making here is the shortest journey can be the hardest one. Yes, we often talk about the last 10 yards problem, right? And, people might think, well, what's this topic all about? Why are you bringing this up? I'm bringing it up because this is the reality of living with blindness, right? So I'm not coming here with solutions and, the answer to the world's problems. I'm telling you what our problems are, our reality is. Because, look, that's part of what we're doing here on Double Tap on YouTube. We want to share the stories that we share on our daily show. And I just wanted to bring some of this into this because, traveling, it is mentally exhausting when you're blind.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. True.
And, there's no way around that other than just to extend. I think the only way around it is to do more of it. That's the truth. I think you've got to just do more of it.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think you've got to get out of your comfort zone. It's so easy. And as I said, we always think things through. You need to, right? You need to plan everything. How am I going to get there? But as you're doing that, it's so easy to fall into but what if that goes wrong? Or what if that happens? And how am I going to? How am I going to get from here to there? And what if I get, someone who won't assist me? You fall into, and it's so easy to just say, you know what, I won't bother. And plus, with the so many services going online. It's so easy just to say I don't need to. But I think there is a benefit to it. Well, there definitely is a benefit to facing that at some point. But at the same time, you don't want to guilt people, right, who are struggling, who do really say, you know what, I can't face going out. I can't face that. There's more of us. There's so many people out there that I think are in that and maybe have been visually impaired or blind for years and years and still feel I can't face going out on my own.
Yeah. And that's more common than I think people might want to admit. I think that's the case. And that's not exclusive to blind people, right? There's loads of older people. I think there's a lot of younger people today who might feel that way for various reasons.
Yeah.
But I think that, and I'm not suggesting for a second that because we're blind, somehow this is unique to us. I don't think it is. But the reason I bring it up is because I think it's important for people like us to talk about these things, because there are people who can't. There are people who will not be able to articulate this, who may have tried to articulate this to friends and family, who might have tried to say, look, I'm just not feeling up to it. And then what do they get? Because I've had this often enough. Oh, come on, it'll be so much better when you get out. It'll be so much. Yeah. And, for example, someone like me, and you to some extent as well, I guess, light sensitivity. I am extremely light sensitive. I wear sunglasses pretty much all the time. Not exclusively all the time, but I do most of the day wear them. And when I don't wear them, and, I get a flash of light somewhere, and it could be something as benign as just a light going on in the house, I've got to put my glasses on because the sunglasses, the light just hits me, and it creates headaches. So, the idea of going out on a sunny day, oh, it's a beautiful day outside. Go outside, it's beautiful. I'm like, no, it's really not for me. It's not. It's really not. And the reason I bring this up as well is because I think there's lots of people out there who've got friends or have got family who are blind or low vision who might think that their family member is regressing a little bit, because of their vision loss. And that may be true. Because we do that. We do. I did it for a long time. I mean, the pandemic didn't help me at all because I was naturally going to become a hermit. And, it was always going to happen. And then when the option became available, hey, you can work from home. I was like, great. I never need to leave the house again. This is the best thing ever. And I felt so comfortable. And this is the untold story, actually, of the pandemic for a lot of disabled people. Well, two parts, actually. One, a lot of disabled people lived this life anyway. They lived alone, or they certainly worked from home, or they lived at home all the time and never left the house. So this wasn't
welcome
new.
To the party, the rest of the world. Yeah, this is how I live every day. Yeah.
And in fairness to you, that was your life.
Yep,
still is,
absolutely.
To some degree, right? But then there's the other side to it, which is that a lot of us had experienced this and we kind of excelled at it. We were good at it. We actually didn't mind it. A lot of disabled people. Well, yeah, because a lot of disabled people, especially physical disabilities, would have difficulty at offices or buildings with various access challenges, whereas at home, everything was built for you. It was built to suit your needs. You could actually excel at your work because you had a chance to focus on it when you got around to doing what you had to do, right? But if you needed to go to the bathroom, for example, you'd have to worry about what that bathroom was like or what was kitted out for you. Did it have what you needed in it? I didn't have to worry about commuting. I didn't have to worry about dealing with, lunchtimes, going to the shops and the changing light, which affected me getting around. I'd sit in an office where I had lots of noise around me. I had, a screen reader in my ear, people trying to talk, phones ringing all the time. I could control that environment. I remember the first time, and when the pandemic began, I remember sitting at home having my screen reader out to the room through speakers rather than in my ears through headphones.
Yes.
And that was like an amazing experience because it was like finally I could detach this from my
freedom,
ears.
Stephen Scott. It's like when you get the house to yourself and you walk around naked. You know what? I feel free for the first time in my life. I don't do that, by the way. In case anyone
no one does, or at least they don't admit it. But you know what?
No, you're absolutely...
carry on.
It's funny because you're a great example of this anxiety. Excuse me, because you used to commute every single day, weekly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And your commute isn't a quick journey either. Look, as we keep talking about employment in a disabled community, right? It's a rarity. I hate to say it's a rarity that people have a job they go to every day. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, you're commuted and you seemed absolutely calm, chill, and fine with that. And it's funny how this has changed since the lockdown.
Oh,
I
massively.
know you said you're happier, since being able to work from home, and I totally get that. And of course, we can't understate or overstate how much of an impact that has made to the abilities to work from home. Has made a great positive improvement to the employment prospects for disabled people as well. And sadly, we're starting to see the tide turn on the working from home experiment, I suppose. We're starting to see companies saying, no, okay, that's enough now. Everyone get back to the office. But I just want to point out that I would never have thought for 1 second that you would be the type of person that would say, I'm anxious about leaving that front door. But you could just never tell. You can never tell. Despite how people may seem on the outside, you never know how they're feeling.
The anxiety in the last couple of weeks, especially before our trip to Vienna, I was really struggling to get over the front door. I mean, just to get over the door. And what I mean by that is, in my head, it's just a swirling mess to the point I'd give myself a headache. And that would make me not want to go out. I'd make myself almost ill with anxiety. And I never really understood what that meant until it happened to me. If I'd been told about it by someone else, I'd probably go, yeah, that's not going to happen to me. But it really surprised me when it did happen, how it impacted me, how it impacted my ability to do things I really enjoyed. And, I kind of feel that it's a shame in a way because our world has changed so much. So much is available online. The idea of going out to buy something or going out for a meal or going out for a coffee, it could just come to me. And so the options are there and it just is easier. But of course, and that's a good thing, but it does mean that those of us who can get out but just don't feel comfortable getting out, and I used to put up all kinds of excuses and, always think of any excuse. Cancelling with friends, goodness me, I was coming to meet you. You were ill. You were you're literally in your sick bed. Yes. I was coming down to see you, and on that morning, I had almost a panic attack at the very thought of the journey.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. I had to call you, and I think I was honest with you. I think I told you that I just can't do this, but I genuinely couldn't get. And it's not that I couldn't. I absolutely could have if I just pushed myself, and I'd probably been fine. But the mental agility that was going on to just get me over that front door, couldn't bear it.
And it's funny though because we say that all the time. If we arrange something, we say, you know what? If you can't face it, it's fine. Just give us a call. Because we understand. I think we both understand that feeling. And it is hard to explain, but that feeling of being anxious and tense, it is an issue. And you know what? Is it okay for us to embrace that as well and say, you know what? Stop trying to force me to go out. If it makes me feel like that, is it okay for us to say, you know what? I'm just going to order something in. If I go on holiday, I haven't been on holiday in years and years and years, but you know what? I just want to sit by the pool. I don't want to be taken to somewhere. I don't want to sightsee. I know that sounds ridiculous in our case, but you know what? I'm fine. I'm happy. Is that okay?
I think anything's okay if you're happy with it. Because I'll tell you why. Because first off, if you do that, you're probably more likely to do something that it is perhaps unexpected, or, on holiday, for example, you say, yeah, I don't want to go sightseeing. You go there with that clear mission of this is what I'm going for. But then when you're there and someone says to you, hey, we're thinking about just taking a walk around here, you're probably more likely to just say, yeah, you know what, why not? But equally, if you say, no, thanks, I'm happy where I am, that's fine because you're there. I think the pressure is always on us, I think. And most of it's on ourselves. We put it on ourselves because we build it up in our own heads. Yep. There was a time where I had cancelled, not you, it was something else I'd cancelled. And the relief that flooded in afterwards, and I knew I'd made the right decision at that moment. I felt bad about it because I thought, I've cancelled this again, or here we go again. But sometimes,
do we beat ourselves up all the time about that?
Yeah, I do.
It's absolutely fine to say, you know what, I can't. But like everything else, right? There's scales to this, because if you're doing something that if someone says, you know what, I just don't want to talk to anyone, at some point that's going to become a negative and going to become a problem, isn't it? And
that's exactly why we do this conversation. We have this conversation because this is for some people going to be the thing they hear that makes them think, I need to maybe talk about this. And if that means you send us an email privately and you want to just have a chat with us, that's fine. Do that. Seriously, do that, because if that's what gets you out of that bubble, if you've got family around you who are constantly, come on, let's do this, come on, let's do that, and it's just driving you, you just feel like you cannot, you feel boxed into a corner, please don't, because you don't have to. And you can get in touch with us and we'll happily talk to you. But, we get so many emails from people who say they feel this way and no one speaks for them. No one. And I feel like I can put my head out a little bit and say, do you know what? I can talk about this. It's one thing I can do is I can talk. Not much else I can do, but I can talk.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
and,
everybody struggles.
Yeah, I think everybody struggles, and I think we need to acknowledge that, because as much as everybody wants to push how great life is and how wonderful things are, and life's could always be worse and all this garbage. You know what? Things can get bad, and it's the small things. I go back to the very first point. It's the shortest journeys in life that are the hardest, and that can be seen in travel. It can be seen in everything. So I just wanted to talk about that today, but. Yeah, it's an interesting one. But do get in touch with us, feedback@doubletaponair.com if you want to talk to us. And of course, it can be private, absolutely can be. But we would love to know that if you're feeling the same way, that you're not alone. That's the bottom line. Travel is and can be a nightmare, but it can also be wonderful. And who knows, maybe you and I'll get that holiday. Maybe we should organise it. You, me, and our respective partners, our better halves.
Yes.
We should all go on a holiday. I'm still telling you about this cruise. You won't listen to me.
Oh no, definitely. I think a cruise is the perfect blind holiday. Hey, maybe that's another episode we could talk about.
We'll do it from the ship.
Yeah. Yes, we will.
Okay, we'll catch you next time for another Double Tap on YouTube. Keep in touch. Of course, you can subscribe to this. You can also comment and do whatever else you want with it. Or delete it from your history, never to be seen again, whatever suits you. Thank you once again, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you, Shaun.
Thank you. Bye-bye.